there, today's book is What the Neighbors Saw by Melissa Adelman. In this book we meet Sam and Alexis. They are new parents and they recently moved from the city. They had a townhouse there and they've moved out into an exclusive neighborhood. It is one of those communities that are filled with McMansions basically. And the only way that they were able to get into this community is due to a fixer-upper coming for sale. So when Alexis saw that, she was really excited. However, Sam wasn't quite sold. However, when they went to do the walkthrough or to view the property, he liked the neighborhood. They also had a running trail nearby, which they both run, and then also a part of the trail goes near the waterfront. So the lot itself was also really nice, where it had room for a pool. Sam is an attorney, so he was seeing the potential of being able to bring partners by, the potential to have a pool where he can entertain there, and so he was sold. Now, the property needs a lot of work, and it seemed as though they kind of overextended themselves, because when they moved into the property, it still needed a whole lot of work. It wasn't like it was completely renovated. However, they didn't move in until about 3 months after they closed on the property, because they were doing some basic things that needed to be done. Now, shortly after they moved into the neighborhood, there was a death nearby. So the death occurred when somebody was running along the trails, and we find out that the person who died is the husband of the lady who lives across the street. So the couple who lives across the street are Blair and Teddy Bard. Teddy is a senator and he is really well off, and Blair has a what do you call that now? A design company, like a, what's that word? Decorating type of business, but it seemed like most of the wealth lies on Teddy's side. They have 3 children. They're teenage boys, and so they're kind of like the picture perfect family. Everything looks perfect. Their home, the way they look, so they come off like the ideal couple. And so Alexis wanted to be friends with them. So after Teddy died, Alexis had ventured out to, bring something to say condolences to them. And Blair seemed like she wasn't too bad for, how some rich people can be snobbish. And she seemed like really down to earth. So they kind of struck up a friendship, and Blair kind of brings her into their inner circle, and at one point had invited her to a yacht party. Her brother owned a yacht, and so she was able to do that and have the party, attend the party and whatnot. And then Blair also introduced her to other couples who lived in the neighborhood. Everybody, of course, rich people. There's a young couple, Emily and Dylan, who made their money off of a startup that they sold. Emily is kind of not really too easy on the eyes and not ugly either. It seems she got described kind of androgynous in a sense, where she doesn't look too feminine. And her husband Dylan is kind of the playboy looking. He's good looking and he's very flirtatious. So I guess he knows he's good looking, so he doesn't shy away from women who are showing interest in him, even though he's married. Then there's also Laura and Sean. Alexis and Sam met Sean one day when they saw a light in the vacant lot next to their house. Now, that lot was supposed to be vacant, and they were wondering why there's a light there. So, of course, after the death of their neighbor, Alexis was kind of bored and paranoid. So he decided he was going to go out and take a look, which didn't seem like the greatest idea. So anyway, Alexis decided she was going too, but of course Sam took off and he wasn't really slowing down and waiting for her to keep up. But anyway, when they went to discover who was on the site, they found that it was Sean. And Sean was saying that he was looking for one of his drones because it was supposed to be rain in the forecast, and he wanted to find it before it started to rain. Of course, they didn't really buy that because why are you out there in the middle of the night? What was he trying to hide, and why? What was the purpose of the drones? But anyway, they were giving him the side eye anyway. One day also after, it seems like all at once, this exclusive and supposed to be safe community is just turned upside down. One day when they were home, Alexis got a knock on the door, and she wasn't expecting anybody, but of course she decided to open the door, and out there she found a naked young lady. Her makeup was ruined, she was crying, she was begging to come in, and we find out that she was assaulted by one of the neighbors nearby. His name is Mac. He's an older gentleman, and he is very, very wealthy. We find out later that he owns an island somewhere in the Carolinas, I believe. I hope I remember that correctly. But anyway, after she entreated them to come in, they brought her in, and they found out that she felt like he was going to kill her. He was getting rough with her, and when she said stop, the typical thing that happens. And so the police was called. They took everybody's statements, and then they ended up, bringing Mac away in handcuffs. Of course, being as rich and privileged and having friends in high places, by the next day he was out of police custody. And Alexis was kind of like, what happened? Why is he out? And of course, when she checked the news, there's no news reports. There's nothing written about the incident. It was all like it never happened. She was just like floored that, this would happen. Of course, they figured out that perhaps, there was a settlement to keep the girl from talking. So anyway, Mac had come by and left flowers and basically saying, if anything happened or he sees anything, she sees anything, to let him know, as if to say, like, before you run to the police, come and talk to me or else. It was kind of threatening, as if, mind your own business, and if you do feel like you're not going to mind your own business, you need to come and talk to me before you do anything crazy. So anyway, another time that she was really paranoid after this whole death occurred. So she decided that it had to be somebody in the neighborhood, and so she decided that she was going to go back to that empty lot one night. I don't know why she decided to do that in the middle of the night. So she did, and then while she was going through the lot, she witnessed a couple outside of one of the houses, and they were making out. And then she realized that the couple that was there was not with their spouse. And so she was like, oh boy. She walked into a secret, and then when she was there, somebody came up behind her, put their hand over her mouth, and they were kind of rough with her. And then she discovers that the person was one of the spouses, the woman's husband. He was enraged, and the things that he was saying, that it seemed like he was prepared to hurt her because he was tired of her cheating on him, and he had known about it for a while, so he was really enraged. And so she was in a position again, and of course he ended up getting into trouble with that. But we find out later in the book that because she had no assets, she ended up forgiving him. So that's how that happened with that. Now, Alexis noticed that there was some resemblance between one of the couples, and she was like, wondering, why do they look so much alike? And then there was something that had been mentioned before, and she decided to dig into that. Along with snooping around their house, she discovered that there was one of those DNA kits, that ancestry type of kit that was done, and she discovered that a dirty secret in the family. So when she confronted that person, try not to tell who it is, the person confessed to the things that she had suspected. And so she decided not to go to the police, because as a result of this discovery, there was some violence that had taken place, and it seemed as though she was kind of had a little admiration for this person and what they had done in light of the discovery that was made. Also, we find out that her husband, throughout the book, he was kind of jerky to her at points, where he was just short with her, not exactly caring, and she had a toddler and also shortly had a baby, a second child, and he wasn't very compassionate at all. So towards the end of the book, we kind of found out why that was happening. So by the end of the book, we kind of see where it's reiterated in a sense that, you know, affairs kind of always end up badly, because as a result of an affair that had happened, it was the reason that that death had occurred. And so as a result of that, there's also, you know, those children in those two families that were impacted. There were 5 children who ended up losing a parent. And then also as a result of another affair that had happened, there's a divorce that's going to be taking place, or seem like there's going to be another divorce as well. So lots of drama in this community that she moved in, and she just like, wow, I did not expect this. So this is one of those books that had a lot of different angles to it. It was one of those that keeps you on your toe, that you want to find out what happened, who did this, and what were the circumstances. So I definitely recommend this one, 4 stars on this. This is the first book that I've read from this author, and I was very impressed. This is so far one of my favorite books this year. Have you read this one? Let me know your thoughts. Until next time.